Now this forlorn little burial chamber near Caer-Dyni Castle, within sight of Snowdonia Mountains, is just by the beach near the railway line. It sits on a sloping bit of land just east of the village with its slipped capstone. It's a probable neolithic burial monument which has in the past been considered as a cyst or kist and dated to the early Bronze Age. But it's thought with monuments of this size, where the chamber measures 1.3 metres by 0.8, it can still be considered megalithic, so probably of an earlier Neolithic date. Now, this chamber probably once had a low rectangular mound rather than a round one, with the mound measuring 13 metres by 8 metres, is oriented east-west, so it's not so small. Now, interestingly, to the south of the mound, there's a small spring. Now, the location of this spring may be why the monument was sited here. It was constructed with 7 uprights, which were to hold the capstone, 2 of which are more than a metre in height. And all of the stones, with the exception of one, are as like a shale slate. The other, which is still supporting the 45-degree capstone, is a fine-grained sandstone. Now, located on this stone are up to 13 cut marks, which I bloody missed at the time, 9 of which are carved on the lower section of the upright, with 4 carved on the southeast face of the same stone. And each of the cut marks measure around 40 millimetres in diameter. And on one face is a possible alignment comprising a crescent of 3 cut marks, and on the southwest face, partly obscured by the leaning capstone, the cut mark patterns are arranged into 3 groups of 3, 2 of which form a crescent and the other a triangle. Now, a team from the Clifton Antiquarian Club visited the site in 2006 as part of an ongoing research into rock art and its association with Neolithic burial monuments in Wales. And it was these who recognised the patterns. The cut marks are present throughout most of Atlantic Europe, and they may represent a universal meaning, but the meaning is still a mystery. There's a very small number of monuments in Wales that are similar in structure and possess a similar landscape position to this place. And one of these is Bed Taliesin, overlooking the Dovey Estuary in Carmarthenshire, which I visited last year. When I was looking at the castle in the distance, it made me wonder how many thousand people have visited the castle and were impressed by its age, but the majority of them are oblivious to this much older and more interesting site. Now, wherever the dating of this site is, it seems evident that it represents a multi-phase site, like Neolithic to Bronze Age, onwards possibly. For example, the uprights with the 3 cut marks, in some experts' views, these carvings were made after the monument was constructed, possibly by Bronze Age people who used the monument following its original use as a place of interment. And cut marks in particular are found on Bronze Age monuments and have been considered to be of this era. But it has also been suggested in more recent studies that some stones with cut marks may have been reused from earlier cultures and either incorporated into Bronze Age monuments or later taken away, re-erected as standing stones and such. It's food for thought. Now, one case in particular I read is a reuse of an ornately carved standing stone that was broken into 3 sections and incorporated into 2 Bronze Age passage graves, thus possibly dating cup and ring marks further back in history than was previously thought. Now, standing at this monument, it has vast views of the coast to the south, as far as Borth on a good day, the southern extent of the Llŷn Peninsula, and the view also includes a vast area of open water. However, it's probably not what can be seen from the monument that was important to the Neolithic builders, but from where on the landscape the monument can be seen. Now, to view this monument, you need to be standing on the immediate slopes that surround it, to the north, east and west, and possibly views from the sea. But it cannot be seen from the beach or the shingle slopes of the foreshore or at a distance. It seems that the mound, its architecture and the people who used it seem to create a powerful, secret world, and part of this secrecy is the way sites like this are located in the landscape. In a figurative sense, they can be seen if you know where they are, but not seen if you're outside the circle of knowledge. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting theory. Now, here's something I noticed. You can see that Arborough, Stonehenge are both connected to Bryn Celyn in Anglesey through Pythagorean geometry. And the Bryn Celyn in Anglesey is immediately north of the Dolmen, if you connect the triangles to make an oblong. This may be coincidence or my imagination, but as there's been surprisingly little archaeological investigation to this site, we can't be sure. But the deliberate placement of significant prehistoric sites by exact degrees of longitude and latitude, etc., is something that is commonly seen in other ancient cultures, such as ancient Greeks. Interesting thought.